James and the Brink, and we are one community. That's why I'm here. And I also want to double check to make sure I'm using the right mic. Okay, I am. You can tell I'm using a different headset today. Yeah, so today, uh actually give me 1 second. Today we are going to be talking about NVIDIA, the doom and gloom of 2026. We thought 2025 was going to be bad, but 2026 is going to be worse potentially. We'll talk about some games, but mostly hardware coming up in 2026, and so it's going to be a good old time. But like always, gotta wait for a couple of people to trickle on in. I probably should start this sooner with some music, but I'll up my game one of these days. I used to have it at one point. Cat Smith, welcome, welcome, welcome. How you doing, man? Why the high question mark? I also need to adjust my camera. It is really high up there. There we go. Cat Smith, how are you doing? How's everyone doing that is here? Just going to do a quick shout out on Discord for people. Man, was playing some TF2, gonna take quick pizza break. Okay. Anything good going on with TF2 right now? Do they have any like holiday things going on? I know that's one of the things I like about TF2 during Halloween is that I think you can play them all the time, but their Halloween stuff in the past was really fun. But yeah, Raichi, welcome, welcome, welcome. How you doing, man? I'm just going to finish announcing this video in the general. Okay. Okay, guys. It's over, gamers. Hide your GPU's wife, RAM children, and dog NVMe way before evil AI take them away from you. Hey, I don't know about AI being evil yet. I think that's a little premature, but yeah, it's definitely not. I think if the companies wanted to make more RAM and a lot more and create some new processing facilities for it, they could. They're just not going to. I gotta adjust my camera a little bit. There we go. Okay, much better. It is a little crooked. Hold up. That's gonna be crooked. BT Maverick, welcome, welcome, welcome. How you doing, man? Yes, there's the winter 2025 crate with 2 pyro items I kind of want. Nice, Cat Smith. So let's dive straight into this topic today, guys. As you guys more than welcome to tell me how you're doing, but let's dive into this. Let's get this sharing. Don't mind me if you see any AI tools off to the left here. Those are purely for research purposes, potentially. I'm not a trader. Am I a trader, guys, for using AI? Am I the reason why all the GPUs are gone? Raichi, soon AI agents will go will go house to house taking any electronics with RAM inside. That might be the most valuable thing you can buy right now. Removing GPUs, what you mean, my heart. So I shouldn't have. Hey, self project. So yeah, I should have worded it different. I couldn't figure out how to do like I want to do reducing. I want to do something, but reducing. I don't know. They're reducing though. They're reducing their allotment, so they're not removing. Actually, wait. Oh, it's up here. I was gonna say, where's my article? Also, got some Fallout drink. So, damn it. The last game they showed at, the Game Awards was terrible. I do actually agree with that self-project. I would say go as far as terrible, but it was definitely not worthy of that spot. Pouring in the booms chat. Nice. Okay, so NVIDIA is reportedly looking to cut gaming GPU production by up to 40% in 2026 due to VRAM supply issues, which is kind of funny because they're the whole reason why there's GPU issues. So, but it's not as bad as news as you might think, not yet at least. Uh, we had a shortage, I believe, in 2024. We've had a shortage on and off for 5 years now. So I don't know how it can get worse. I don't think people are needing to upgrade their graphics cards as much, but let's just say when I go to Best Buy, when I go to some other places, it's not like it's an amazing field of inventory for uh, video cards. That being said, I do think they're going to be reducing at least the I don't even know if they have a 5050 series, but the 5080, the 5060s, I could see them getting rid of that line. I thought it was going to be Titanfall 3 or Half-Life 3 self project. Yeah, I was hoping that it was going to be Half-Life 3. Obviously, I wasn't going to get my hopes up that much because Valve announces things on their own timeline and on their own things. They don't usually announce things at other places typically anymore. They've done it before, I think, in the past, like with Half-Life 2, but I think ever since then, they've just done their own thing. And it's worked just fine because they have such a massive platform that it's almost better for them production-wise to just throw it into Steam and announce it there. Raichi, the RAM price will skyrocket, then drop a little bit, then it will become the new normal. Yeah, Raichi, you're not wrong. That is the crappiest thing about this whole thing is we'll have norms, unfortunately. And so, yeah, like Samsung is even having a hard time fulfilling RAM for their own devices. Like they're having a hard time selling it to themselves. You got to remember, Samsung's a massive company, and so for them, they work with each other, and so it does take it takes a little bit more work for them to, not a little bit of work, but they have to work um between different departments to get RAM and everything. And and Samsung doesn't want to create more. I honestly, I'm curious if they suspect that because I full on don't think there's going to be an AI burst like a bubble pop. I think there's going to be a deflation. So I think the bubble is going to get really really big. The pop is not going to be like a complete pop. It's going to be like a puncture, and then it's going to deflate. I don't think it's going to be the biggest deal. Congrats, BT Maverick. Wait, what? Uh, BT Maverick, I won a Switch 2 from podcast last nights. What? What podcast did you watch last night? Damn. Congrats, BT Maverick. That's the best way to get a Switch 2 is not give Nintendo your money. But yes, congrats, man. That's great to hear. Um, maybe one of these days I'll do another giveaway. Um, I need to. Uh, Raichi, the Galaxy S26 Ultra will be $1,500 with only 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigabytes of internal storage. What? Are you serious? That's crazy. Wait, I when did they stop dropping the RAM on Android devices? I thought Android devices are like for premium were between 10 and 12. That is crazy. I think I think we're just in this world where companies are going to charge us insane amount of money now. And they're gonna have to do it because I don't think people are buying stuff as much because things last longer now. In the sense of, you get an iPhone, the newest iPhone, it will last you 4 or 5 good years. Yes. James should follow the example of this podcast. Yes. No, you don't need to be sarcastic. I wouldn't do it today though. But and I wouldn't do a Switch too. That's I've done like, unless a company gives me stuff to give away again, which has happened, and if I get my shit together and continue well, I mean, I just haven't I've been busy with, holiday stuff this, winter, or December, so I haven't released anything. I have 2 videos, but I might not release them because they're kinda old now. But, um I am working on some more like Windows Bazzite and other videos because that's what people want, and plus it's been kind of fun. But yeah, maybe I can request some stuff to give away in the future again because I've done that. Somebody is selling a Legion Go for $300. I almost want to get it, but I already have one. I'm not gonna lie, for that much, I'm so not sure about good deals. I've had so many bad problems with good deals in the sense of like something's wrong with it. It's like they say there's nothing wrong with it. They give you a good deal and then there's something wrong with it. Unless it's from a company themselves, then maybe. But do it. Go for it. Games Talk Live main host is Fonz. The Fonz. Nice. But they will drop the RAM. So you think I could see Apple is the only one that's already been kind of like damn. I wonder what RAM costs are already really high for Apple. It would eat into their profit a little bit, but mm, hmm, interesting. I have a 64 so I've been, working on my video game on and off, and I've been working on it quite a bit this time around. Like, um I have mechanics for switching between a Dead Space-esque third-person view and a first-person view, with the sway and everything. Working on some characters for it, but damn, it would be nice to have just a little bit more RAM in my PC. Like I have 64 gigabytes of RAM and it like MetaHuman on Unreal just eats through it. But um yeah. I might be too late. Like there's some pre-builds that are looking pretty sexy these days. BT Maverick, I think I might sell it and put $500 towards a PC handheld. That's not a bad idea. The problem with Switch 2 is that there really isn't any amazing game to buy it in my opinion. Mario Kart is good. I've heard good things about the Donkey Kong one, which I will let you know how it is like in a week or two because I got it for a Christmas present for one of my kids. But yeah, as far as having a Switch 2, it sits there kind of. It will play and it plays Switch 1 games more often than not. I do have to admit the screen is nice. It's bigger than like the Steam Deck. It's bigger than the uh Xbox Ally X, which is still the most atrocious whatever. I can't speak today. Atrocious thing about is the Xbox Ally X is that screen. It's crazy. Rachie, normies don't understand RAM, so they can't cut the RAM on devices. My dad didn't have space on his 120 gigabyte phone, so to fix the problem, he bought a newer phone with 120 gigabytes of storage. So it will fix the problem for a little bit, Rachie, because they're not going to have everything unless they do a straight transfer. Then it's not going to fix it. But yeah, space is crazy. Um, so so yeah, they're planning on cutting discrete GPU production by up to 40%. Just seems like a case in point, however, while it's all RAM related, it's not necessarily bad tidings. The claim in question was posted on the Chinese board channels forum via Bench Live, blah, 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 and basically claims that NVIDIA is set to reduce the supply of gaming GPUs by between 30 and 40% in the first half of 2026 compared to the volume of output during the same period in 2025. That's not surprising given the DRAM supply problems affecting the entire computing industry will result in fewer desktop. Damn, I do think I want to go get a GPU before I shouldn't get a GPU, but I want to. However, there's not exactly a huge shortage of GeForce RTX 50 series cards at the moment, with the exception of sensibly priced RTX 5080 and 5090 models. Browser, where did this take us? This is just on there. Oh, okay. Do they have a price point on this somewhere? Yeah. Yeah, the 5080 is what, around 800 to $1,000? Uh, yeah, you'll see endless you can see endless supply, but I don't know, guys. Yeah, this wasn't the case 10 months ago. I don't think they overproduced. I think we're screwed. I think this is the new norm. So you're unlikely to see RTX 50 series cards suddenly disappearing from shelves, though the report I think people are going to mass buy over the next few months. Like meaning just I think well, there's a lot of pre-builds too. Pre-builds are actually kind of the way to go right now with RAM prices being the way they are. My biggest problem with getting like the 5080 is it's a 16 gigabyte card where my 3090 is a 22 or 24 gigabyte VRAM card. And for game development, that's really nice. For my room, it's not very nice. It overheat. It's very hot. BT Maverick, I don't like how expensive and overpriced their ecosystem is, and games never go on sale. Same third-party indie games I can get for $10 on Steam that Nintendo will sell for full price. The only reason to have the Nintendo a Switch 2, full stop, is the first party games. And the first party games that they're coming out with are just kind of mid. Even though I do think the new Mario Kart is really fun, it is not $500 fun. If you need your money to stretch, hands down, I still think the Steam Deck and Steam sales are the best way to go. Oh, hands down. For $1,000 that you would spend on an Xbox Ally X, you can get yourself during the Steam sale, if at varying amounts of different games, you could probably get like 20 to 50 games for and a Steam Deck, enough to set you for like 3 years of gaming. It's crazy. Um, nah, I would keep it since you won't want it. It's that almost priceless. Like the time I won an Xbox Series X from Taco Bell, dude wanted to give me $800. Is it a special edition though? Peach Alice, like that is cool. I used to have the original Xbox kiosk, like, I don't know, it's not kiosk, whatever it is, like the demo unit that was at GameStop. Well, GameStop, I think this is like a few years before actually worked there. They were tossing it, and I was able to get it. I had it at my house, I had it set up and cool and all that, but, my dad eventually threw it out, though, because I never picked it up and put it anywhere because I could never find a good place to put it after I moved out. It's like that. I would have never wanted to get rid of it, but yeah, he got rid of it without me knowing. Which, yeah, it is what it is. Probably be worth a penny now. Uh, yeah, once in a lifetime winning stuff. I mean, I won a knife at a gun show, um, when I was a teenager. Well, older teenager, old enough to win. And, yeah, I still have that thing. Raichi, liar, you need that RAM for AI. Me personally, I, unfortunately do not run local LMs very much, like, learning, uh, I don't run local LMs. I do a lot of ChatGPT and Claude, so hate to say it, I'm part of the problem. I mean, I've used AI for nearly a decade for, like, because there's some early machine learning models that were for, code completion and code suggestions, and I use that, but we're getting out of control now. Honestly, it's not even getting in like, they're throwing more I don't even know if the demand for the cards are growing that much. I think they're just trying to throw more raw power at it so to grow the beast, to see if they can just throw power to increase the viability. And I will have to say actually, give me one second. I will have to say, after this year, this full year, like, night and day difference between what AI can do now as opposed to a year ago. Um, I hate to say this, guys, but you can trust it a lot more. You should still validate. I still have, like, a lot of my training I've gone through, like, let's say game development wise, I've taken game development classes in college. I've done a lot of I've never successfully released a game, but with my video game. But for referencing things, I would rather ask Claude, which is much better at like engineering and game development and stuff like that. I'd rather ask it a question than go and try to search through Unreal's documentation. It's better than some other stuff, but I'll tell you what, I cannot parse through the docs very well. But I have Claude pointed out, I give it to me in bullet points and in a more ADHD friendly kind of manner, and it is so much easier for me. I've gotten, I'm getting stuff done now, guys. Um, and I'm really excited to get this vertical slice of the game out for you guys to try, hopefully in a couple months. But I hate to do time frames because once I say it's going to happen, my brain shuts off. BT Maverick, that Taco Bell Xbox made the Taco Bell sound when you turned it on. That is priceless, BT Maverick. Okay, would you sell your Switch 2 if it made the Taco Bell noise every time you turned it on? You could always hack something together, I'm sure, but that's priceless, guys. That's priceless. I love that. That's back when companies actually cared about, like, well, I shouldn't say care. Back when companies used to have decent priced food and also would give away stuff a lot more. Even though yeah. We're not listening to anything right now. I'll just take this off for now. Pichalas, I gave it to my son for Xmas present, so he was definitely happy about that. Dude, that is sick. Yeah. If you get another one, I'll take it as a present. I'll be your son. But yeah. Is that interesting? So the 5090 laptops already use these, which is why they sport 24 gigabytes of VRAM, even though the GPU inside only has 256-bit memory bus. 256 bytes comes from this is, yeah, 8 times 32-bit wide memory bus. So 8 times 3 gigs equals 30 or 24 gigs. So that they're matching the VRAM chips to the bus size. So the bus amount. Should an RTX 5080 Super, I mean, that I didn't know that 5090s. Okay, we got to do a little detour here. Best Buy, I guess. I don't know. Do these have oh. Oh. They have 32 gigs? What did 4090s have? I feel like 4090s had 32 gigs. No, this is 4090. I search for come on. Eh. Raichi's son too. Okay. So yeah, interesting. So it had 24, same as my 3090. Okay, I thought they reduced so I guess our high end ones they don't reduce. Damn guys, should I get a how hot do you think these 5090s run? Do you think they're pretty hot compared to I wonder if there's any let's see. Let's see if Google can tell us. Draws significant more power around 575 watts. Damn. Then the oh gosh, getting more heat in raw numbers, but in advanced Blackwell architecture offers much more performance per watt, meaning it can deliver vastly superior performance while it's newer, cooler. Yeah, but what does that mean for my room? Am I going to die in my room? It probably means I'm going to die more in my room. Damn, that's crazy. That is crazy. That's like what, 80 to 90% more power. I mean, that's essentially what they do. Just throw more power at it, right? Those cards were made in hell. Of course, they run hot. Rage. Well, I don't do well with heat. It's one of the reasons I actually don't stream as much now because I would always end the streams at just like on Twitch, streams just sweating because it was so hot in here and I have to have my door shut or else my kids will end up in here and destroy everything while we're playing. Wait, I was gonna say they have a 5090 Ti. That's crazy. It does the 5090 even does the 5090 even matter? Like this seems I'd get it for the RAM because I'm a developer. And I could always get a developer card, but the developer cards are about this like a little bit more than this. So I might as well just get this. I wouldn't get it I guess maybe some people could get it for uh AI, but honestly, 32 gigs is not very good for AI. I have 96 gigs of unified memory in this Mac that I'm on right here, and I can do some pretty good models that are nice, but, if I really was serious about local, AI, I'd be getting a 512 gigabyte one, which is crazy. But yeah. Oh my gosh. It's like a house payment right there. Just move out for a month and be homeless for a month or 2 and get everything you need and then buy a new house. Um, or rent a new house, but be homeless. Is that how everyone does it? How do you guys save up for tech? I'm kinda curious how everyone does it. Um, I go 2 routes. I either save up like, if it's a certain amount, I usually save up, like, a month or 2. If it's more than that, I go the bad route of going about doing it, and I do a payment program. I try not to do it on a credit card, of course, but some of these, programs have, like, 0 interest, which is crazy. Of course, I don't buy GPUs very often. Um, yeah, but the 5080 16 gigs, like, it's half the RAM, which is crazy. It's so crazy. $3,000. That is just oh, this one's even has its own separate cooling. It has a fan for the heat sink area, and then it has a fan for the whole thing. Did you see the Skinwalker trailer I sent on Discord? I did not, Ragey. Did you want me to watch this on this, or do you want me to wait until Twitch? Because we can always watch it on Twitch. Because I'm gonna be doing a little bit of Twitch streaming tonight. My 5080 stays very cool, like 60 to 70. I mean, I only needed to burst up for game development. Other than that, I'm fine if I as long as it runs high, like games on high, I'm fine if it gets a little warmer. Cascoder, it's going to be 2020 again when it comes to GPU demand. I know this is probably going to right now we're not going to see it, but in like a month or two, we're going to see greater demands go in, and then they're just going to jack up prices, and that's just how they're going to do it. Rachel, you can wait. Oh, for one of the, I mean, I'm not going to say whether or not I have the money for this now. Um, I do have 2 kids. No, I would never do that. But I do have a lot of PC stuff, and I could always sell something if I really came down to needing something. Um, I would just wouldn't. I don't think I need it. My game's fine. Everything's running fine right now. It's just tempting because I don't want to. I don't want to get down like 6 months in and not be able to get one. Rachel, you can wait. My 1070 Ti is immortal. Dude, that thing is immortal. But Rachel, like you don't do game development though. I I guess I don't I'm gonna be trying to make sure that my game is very playable on this, even the Steam Deck. So it's all about optimizations of like textures of varying different sizes, but you have to bake. It can kind of suck, but yeah, it doesn't need to be amazing, but sometimes when you get really like I've even had some games where they're not even complete and they were starting to chug a little bit. But I'm sure I'll be fine. So guys, I this was the main thing. Like NVIDIA is shorting is going to just be, I think, be removing their 5060 series, or at the bare minimum, they're not going to develop it as much. And maybe they have a huge stock. Maybe they'll throw those into pre builds. But I could see it only being able to be attained through pre builds, and so I could see them just getting rid of that line for the average consumer and only be for pre builds to be a part of this, because I know that they've mentioned or at least I've read multiple things in the past about them getting rid of lower end cards. Like, I don't even think there's a 50/50 out. So, Rachel, you can play at 24 frames per second. There you go. What game though? BT Maverick. I'll just go broke week lol and eat top ramen after buying a GPU. BT Maverick. You know what? Nothing wrong with that. I've done the same thing. Uh like with Costco. I really like Costco because then I'll buy a little bit in bulk and kind of meal prep and freeze some of it, and just yeah. The only people that suffer are my family. But what is this? Oh, I'm looking at the 5080. Okay. This is native 5080? What? So this is with DLSS on, and then this is yeah, ray tracing overdrive 4K native, which is still kind of crazy. But a 5080, in order to get this for what, a 4 or 5-year-old, it's like a 5-year-old game almost now. You have to use DLSS. I mean, I'll be honest, I think DLSS looks good. I'm one of the ones that is fine with DLSS, to a point. Um, I think you shouldn't have to use it much in your multiplayer games. I think that's bad. Give me one second. Excuse me. So, yeah, okay. Um, so RAM, this is gonna be a problem for 2 years. Do you think this is gonna be something that's gonna be resolved soon? And does anyone have any other topics to talk about? Because this is pretty much what I had. Pizza's done cooking, that Kit Smith. You're eating some pizza? Good. I did a burrito bowl. It was good. Got myself, some chicken breasts from Costco and marinated them and did a burrito bowl for some of it. MCon? I don't know what MCon is. Um, there there was, like, 1 or 2 things I did wanna talk about, and I've completely spaced them. Blow at hmm. A 5060 Ti gaming PC drops to just $899. That seems like a decent deal, doesn't it, guys? I feel like some of these pre-builds are getting really good. Personally, I do a lot more than just casual gaming, so I would be getting something much higher if I was to get something today, but I'm still rocking my 3090. Um, what about the droid attack on Wookiees? Are you talking about Star Wars: The Attack of the what is it, the Clone Wars? Cat Smith supposedly supposed to start shipping MCon units sometime this week. I still don't know what MCon is. Oh, is MCon the phone controller? That's right. That's right. It's this thing. I completely forgot. I apologize. Um, so they're supposed to be shipping right now, huh? I have to admit, as far as like a phone controller system, pretty slick. I actually think if we could once the I mean, this is also like I have iPhones, but if I was rolling with an Android and once because they're gonna be doing their own flavor of Android, right? Steam is. They're doing some type of Steam, bare minimum getting games to run on ARM-based Android devices. That is crazy, and this is something that would pair so well with that, where if I could play, let's see, with an Android device, I wish, or hope that people would also port it over to make sure it works with ARM-based devices on Apple. If I could play some of my lower end games on the go, this would probably be a great replacement for me over carrying like a Steam Deck everywhere. I'd still carry my like when I travel, I'd still carry the Steam Deck. It's always with me when I'm traveling, like away from home for a few days. But yeah, Cascode, where's yours? I think they're just shipping them now, so you should be getting them soon. I Wow, yeah, they're a few months behind Cascoder, but you're going to be getting it soon. Yeah, getting all 5 of mine you got 5 of them, Cat Smith? You're crazy. There was 12 awards that went to Game Pass titles at the Game Awards. Really? Let's go look at some of the Game Awards. I don't know if you guys saw the video. We streamed it a week ago. That's why I didn't stream last week. Um, I mean, Game Pass games isn't fair though because um, allow all whatever. It's not fair because um, like Claire Obscure Expedition 33, that's not an Xbox studio, right? They just made a deal with Xbox, I'm assuming. Death Stranding, well, it did not win. That's right. So we're talking about winners, right? I do think that Claire Obscure should have won, and hands down, it did, and I'm very glad. Wait, is this it? Oh, okay, we're doing best game direction. Yeah, okay. Battlefield 6 is not a Game Pass one, so there's one at least. Claire Obscure. Doom was a day one. South of Midnight was a day one. No Man's Sky was not a day one. Baldur's Gate 3 was not a day one, I don't think. Claire Obscure. Claire Obscure. I don't think this was it, guys? Umama Usumi, whatever. Umama Usumi, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Pretty derby. I'll have to give the game a try. What a weird game, but I'm always all about the weird issues. I think this was a day one on Xbox. Raichi. People kept on calling Game Pass games slop. Guess slop is game of the year contender. Ooh, that's brutal, Raichi. I de- I think Xbox. Honestly, I'm not. I'll side with some of the peeps on the podcast every once in a while, but uh, I yeah, I don't think Xbox as a studio, like they're morphing into a studio away from like a hardware company. I think they have a lot of good titles, and I think their work, like they're coming out with new ones. But I also like to own my games. At least have the more of an illusion of owning my games, like with Steam. Hello, Jack. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I haven't played a single game they had at the awards. Lol. That is unfortunate because there's some good ones like Doom. I actually like the Doom of the Dark Ages. You had to get through it a little bit. Um, but Claire Obscure, I don't know if it's your type of game, LoJack, for sure, but it's a good game. It's a very good game. But I don't think you've played any new games this year, have you? Um, BT Maverick, lol, just showing the value of Game Pass. I mean, I think it's a good value. I 100% think it's a good value right now. My worry is it won't be in the future. And or I also feel less pressure to finish my games, which might be a good thing or bad thing when I own the game on Steam. Um, Raichi, if I play the horse anime racing game, you gotta Play as Urara, Rara. Story. Will do, Raichi. BT Maverick, 9 titles to E33, E3, Expedition 33, 1 to Silk Song 1 to Doom 1 to South of Midnight. Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. This is one that I actually think should have gone to Kingdom Come. I'll be honest. This is one that I don't think that Clair Obscur is a better RPG than Kingdom Come. But I get why they did it though. LoJack, none of those are my type of game. You might like Outer Worlds a little bit, but yeah, you like the survival genre a little bit more, and there's not much in here for you. Tends to be the case though. Split Fiction was a good game. That was one that I definitely wouldn't have put Split Fiction to family. I mean, I'd still play it with my son. I wouldn't put it down as a family-friendly game or full-on family-friendly. Not as much as some of the other titles. Uh it's interesting. It's interesting. Uh, Microsoft titles did or stuff that's on Microsoft's service did eat well this time. It is, yeah. It's Counter-Strike 2 was also a weird one that it won. I think there's more people that play League of Legends still. I thought that would have won. Because I don't know if Counter-Strike 2 has come out with anything revolutionary in a while. Like, even when it came out, it was like, this is cool, but it wasn't that much more fun than any other Counter-Strike I played, which is interesting. Um, yeah. So, what did you guys want to win Game of the Year? If you whatever title you played this year, what do you think if you were the sole person voting for this? What would you choose? Curious. The Xbox is also not selling well, but I think they're pivoting away from it. PS5 like ate their lunch. PS5 did so well selling. Um, I think they outsold Switch 2 and everything. And this is the Switch 2 like for the season and Switch 2's first year, which is pretty interesting. So it happens when you can get PlayStation 5 for $300. Can a gas be a noble? Yes, a noble gas giant. Yes. Cascoder. Carter's was the better kart racer. Nobody played it. It's gonna out me where I live. Um, the Carters. Interesting. So this is it. This didn't come out this year. Is this the one you're talking about? Oh, it's in early access still, though. Interesting. I'm assuming this is what you're talking about, Cascoder. BT Maverick, do you think Expedition 33 should be up for best indie? Yes. Cass Smith, I missed the joke. I probably missed the joke. Not one. Oh, okay. Wait, there's another one. Ah, how can you? Okay, how can you release a second one and still be in early access on the first one? I'm shocked they still allow or that they allowed that at all. Um. Oh, helium. Okay, nice. Um. Yeah, not a lot of people played this, did they? It looks fun. I'm just honestly not the biggest cart person. I definitely think my kids would love this. I think it'd be interesting to try it out. Um, it's definitely a lot more unique than Mario Kart is for sure. Cascadeur devs left, one remained. A company-owned IP chose to reboot it. Interesting. Still, still, they could have had the first one exit early access. Cat Smith, did you get my other message not sent here? It might not show up. Sometimes this doesn't give show every all the messages. Uh Cascadeur, the main attraction is Carter's 2 has thousands of mods. The vanilla game is meh. Interesting. I The modding community on something like this could be very interesting for sure. Going back to do I think let's see. Let's look at categories. Best indie. So, I I'm more and more or less coming around to Claire Obscure 33 being an indie game. Partially because I think the original team was much smaller, then they got more funding and then they were able to build it out much better. Also, Kepler Interactive is in a conglomerate of a bunch of indies that came together, right, to build to make a publisher, and that on top of it, they back a lot of indies. It's not like it's like Valve or EA or some Ubisoft being a publisher for it. It's not. It's different. I think that further pushes it into an indie style, um, meaning they worked on this very hard on their own. They had to come together to build this. I want to know more of the story, and so without more of that story, but if they really like went through some hard times, they didn't have a steady paycheck, a lot of other like especially early on, and they released this eventually. That is pure indie for me. It is the journey to get the game out more than, "Oh, did 2 developers work on this?" That's it for me. That being said, it does suck for stuff like this where, yeah, if you have a huge team and you put something together, it's gonna win over some oftentimes more it's gonna win over something more that only had, like, 2 people on it. BT Maverick, I thought Baker should have won the prize for the best voice acting award for Indiana Jones. I agree with you to an extent. I really did like the voice acting in Expedition 33. So it's another one of those ones where I had a hard time because on one side, Troy Baker, he was so good as Indiana Jones. I was shocked at how good his Indiana Jones was. But um I think Expedition 33 really deserves a lot of limelight. It is a really good game, and the voice acting, I actually was a big part of it that I liked. It's a very narrative-driven game, and without good voice acting in it, it would not have hit as hard. It had a perfect, combination of good music, good voice acting, and, good gameplay, and it's just a very unique world. So, like, a lot of the stuff it won in here, it makes sense. It is something I had never played really before. It is that unique for me. I've played a lot of different aspects of it in the past with RPGs and stuff like that, but is very unique and very refreshing to have something that's not just purely American or Japanese. Uh, yeah. Rachie, I enjoy Expedition 33 a lot because I played it French and the voice acting was good. Ooh. I am gonna have to go learn some French now, even though I've never thought I would say that, but I'll go learn some French so I can get yelled at when I go to France one of these days. Rachie, the Series S saved gaming. If it wasn't for the Series S, PC games would need 2,000 gigs of RAM to run Silksong. Damn. Not really. That is crazy. That's a crazy statement, Rachie. Series S actually helped Baldur's Gate 3 gain 33% more performance across all platforms because they had to optimize for lower spec. They're coming out right now and they're saying because of the RAM issues, they're gonna have to be optimizing more, which I thought was interesting. I'm not one of those people where I think every game has to be optimized just crazily. Like that's like they spend a year optimizing or something. But I think when you're starting to build a game, you should have checkpoints and check to see. And this is a good, I think, very good way to do it, if not the best, is choose a very standardized portable device like the Steam Deck. I am a big Steam fan, obviously. Use that as the goalpost. Like if it can run 30 frames per second without any dips, and if it has some dips, you got to bump it up to 40. If you're going to run at 30 frames per second consistently with barely any dips, your optimization is going good. Uh, BT Maverick, have I tried Routine yet in Game Pass? I have not. I will. Yeah, I've heard. Oh, yeah, it's in Game Pass, isn't it? Well, here's the thing going to be doing. This is I'm going to be playing Dead Space on and off this month on Twitch. It's not going to be tonight. I've been saying I'm going to be playing a different game tonight. I always forget what it is. Oh, he Cat Smith. I saw your second message now on Steam. Okay. Dispatch. I'm gonna be playing some Dispatch tonight. In like 20 minutes or something like that. But yeah. So I will say I was a little disappointed that some of these games, like Expedition won some of these games awards. Like I said, I think it deserved to win everything except for I mean, best indie. I definitely think it's the best indie per se, but I would have liked to see it go to something else just because it won so much. Um, I know Dispatch was a very promising game. Blueprints is really good. Um, yeah, but yeah. Um, I think the one that I was probably most disappointed did not win was Split Fiction with best multiplayer, but that's so hard. Like, there's so many more people that play Arc Raiders or Battlefield 6. But Split Fiction deserved to win some type of game because it was so good. Just the pig level. I'll just say this. You start out this fantasy world as a pig. I'm not going to ruin much more from there, but towards the end of the level, you have to do some very questionable things with that pig. Uh, and it was I just never seen anything quite like that. It was pure, just fun and craziness and wow, interesting, interesting game that was. Raichi, to problem with modern devs, they just want to use the same assets for the low and high settings. The only thing they change is the amount of FSR used. That's why. That's why it's really important to have a good game engine, and we need better asset management that can what it should be able to do is take your highest and I haven't optimized the game for release yet. I've done some optimization and some asset uh, massaging, but you should be able to bake into your game the let's say you have low, medium, high, whatever. You should be able to split those textures up, but it'd probably make for a bigger game though. But split them up and then downscale them. And honestly, you could probably, I could probably look into a utility that you could probably do it on the computer. Like once it's baked into the, I wonder how easy it would be once you ship it and it's things are a little bit more binary based. But in theory, with you should be able to even do it once you send it out to have a downscale. It's not that hard to like downscale an image. Cat Smith, yeah, how to Train Your Dragon, Light Fury at the end. Right. BT Maverick, beautiful game and has a really cool analog tech, but kind of like Alien Isolation of solving puzzles and hiding. Yes. I'll have to give that a try though. I definitely do want to try routine. Like I want to try it too to kind of support the devs. I just haven't done it yet. I still need to beat I still need to beat the other game. Uh looking at me. Crap. I thought I could pull it up much quicker. Chronos. I still need to beat Chronos the second time. That's how you get the real ending. BT Maverick, yeah, the hot dog scene was funny. Yes. And I played that. It's an Unreal game. I played uh Split Fiction with Susie all the way through on the Steam Deck. She had her Steam Deck, I had mine. That's how I played it. Casamount or image, maybe like all three quality levels in the same texture file, just occupying different parts of the image, whatever. Yeah, that's like sprite based kind of stuff. It's a little harder to do it quite like that because the way skin materials and other materials work. But it's just you're gonna triple it. You can eat like you'd still triple the size. Like you wouldn't triple the size, but you would still greatly increase the size of the game by having the highest resolution and then a couple other versions of it. But they could split it off into do that, and then for mobile have its own set, or you could have asset download packs and all that. Like there's a lot of ways to potentially get around it. I just don't see a lot of innovation around it right now because I don't think people care right now. But I do think the more people optimize and make sure it works really well on Steam Deck, for especially like a lot of games do really well. So, yeah, I think a lot of the games on here deserved what they got. It'll be interesting to see what 2026 brings us because 2024 and 2025 are, yeah, were really good years. I think, right? 2024 was Baldur's Gate 3. So we've had some amazing games over the past few years. And I think people do say that we don't have good games. We really have really good games. It's just we have so many. So we get in a decision fatigue and deciding which one to do. Um okay, guys, any more news that we should talk about that we need to talk about? Um I think I will say Hades, I do think got scrubbed a little bit. They did take away one title, so that's not too bad. But they they released in such a weird way that I just wasn't as excited once they officially released. BT Maverick. I want to replay the OG Dead Space games on the Steam Deck PC, but they don't support Steam Cloud saves. Wait, they don't? That's interesting. I thought every game supported Steam Cloud saves, essentially. Hmm. Because I have not played it on you can always save the files yourself. I after playing I just think the remake for Dead Space is so good that I just have a hard time going back to Dead Space, the original. But I do plan on playing on Twitch, by the way, guys. Um, Rachie, let's see what 343 and the coalition does with UE5 next year. It really depends on the developers. I think UE5 brings a lot of good aspects to it, to getting game development and working on teams and stuff like that. Like, I am a little worried about competition because Unity and Unreal 5 are kind of a little bit partnery right now, and that's not a good thing. But Valve, I mean, they could break that up if they wanted to. I just don't know if they care, which very disheartening. Cat Smith, I do know it's 100% free for devs to utilize the Steam Cloud saves. Yes, it is, but Dead Space 1 came out, I think, before that feature was released, so I don't think and who's gonna work on it? It's not like EA gives a F about us, Dead Space people. Um, I should just make a Dead Space 4 and call it Space Dead, uh, Space Dead 4. Ooh, we could go down a very spicy route, the best sex games on PC that aren't garbage. I forgot PC Games does that. Fallout, Season 2 is coming out. The Divinity, trailer, did you guys see the Divinity trailer? That was crazy, and I just Larian is a really good studio. I just and they have I'm gonna do it on the podcast. I'm gonna get into the podcast and all the Larian shit that's going down because there's, like, everyone on social media is just there's a war between both of them for Larian using some AI in development. But, yeah, the game looked awesome. It did have an orgy, which was crazy to have in a trailer at a show, but this should have been the end reveal, not what we got. Little Kitty Big City Little okay. Little Kitty Big City. Ah, this game. Okay, this does look very adorable. This came out like a year and a half ago. Interesting. So you're just play as this cat that go you know what? This would be a good one for one of my kids. I think would really enjoy this. Has reading in it, which would be good for them to, kind of play a game that forces them to kinda read. Okay. It looks like a fun game, Cat Smith. I'll be honest, like, it does look fun. Is it from the same wait, Double Dagger Studios? Okay. They're their own studio. Yeah, it looks like they got a pretty good, like, a lot of reviews and everything, so it looks like they did good as a game, so that's good. C10egg, welcome, welcome, welcome. How you doing, man? You get that knocked out of a skyscraper and try to get back up. Nice. Raichi, Space for Dead. I I'll leave this up and look at it a little bit later, but yeah, no, looks interesting. It looks like a nice cozy game. I don't mind myself a little cozy game. Satanic, I can't play this game with my kids. I suffer from grown ass mantis. Wait, what does that mean? Satanic. Uh, so same for Dead Space 2. Wait, Dead Space 2 doesn't have saving? Dead Space 2 doesn't install my devices anymore because I used up my 3 installations or 4, whatever. So I have to use either the key, the little hack that you have to get, which that in itself is, has some dangers to it, or I have to buy it over again. I will have to say, how EA has treated us is just disgusting for how good the series is. Dead for space for death. Rap death in space, if unprotected, is rapid due to vacuum, hypoxia, and decompression that is, causing unconsciousness in seconds and death in minutes. That sounds horrible. BT Maverick, Unalive Cosmos 4 is it'd be fun to kind of make a parody Dead Space game and use some of these names. Oh, well. My game is I'm gonna be figuring it out, but it's becoming more and more horror based, the game I'm making, and I wanted to be more, like, edging between Dead Space and Half-Life where it's like a horror light where it has, like, a couple of moments that are very creepy and scary, but you're exploring a space station and everything, and as I get further in my video game, the more I'm just like, I don't know. It's going to be creepy. We'll see, though. We'll see how creepy I make it. I promise, once I have my vertical slice done, you guys will see it. And a vertical slice in game development is essentially I take a portion, like a 30 minutes, let's say the beginning portion of the game, and develop it all out as much as I can for what I expect the whole game to be. Like with the achieve like mine's gonna have a progression system for the character. So every time you respawn, and if you've gathered resources enough of certain types of resources, you're gonna be able to upgrade your body. So, or if you don't die and you just want to respawn, aka be reprinted, you can choose to upgrade your character over time that way. Be, and so it's gonna be really it's a fun mechanic that I'm working through. It's something I had year or two when I was working on previous version prototype of this. And so, yeah, that's the hardest part is getting that system ready. So I'll be dropping some stuff also on my The Brink channel too, because I'm repurposing that channel. Or Metroid Dead Space game. A Metroid Dead Space game, like combo of the two. Satanic action horror is the best. Like, well, okay, Satanic. Are you saying like Dead Space? So Dead Space 1 is the scariest of all three of the Dead Spaces, right? And it progressively becomes more action horror. So Dead Space 2 is more action based. Dead Space 3 is even more action based. A little less horror. Um, yeah, it will be action horror. Uh, I'm debating between doing third person and first person. Right now, I have it so you can switch, and I honestly might even allow for that. I might even have it be an upgrade that you can have an AI that will showcase over you to explain the third person. I don't need to explain everything, but I like to in my mind. And you start out in first person, but yeah, because I want to do like you're gonna start out not in a suit, but eventually you're gonna be able to utilize the suits for both states. Maybe being out in space or doing other things, and I'm hoping to yeah, when I get to the suit part, I think the Dead Space suits are so badass. I want to replicate them somewhat in my game. Half Death 4. Not bad. I mean, my game's Space Breach, so mine's gonna be called Space Breach, which is similar to Dead Space in some ways. Cat Smith, I actually might know someone who might want to play your game. They apparently really enjoy horror games. They also happen to also be a live streamer. I'm not going to be naming anyone yet, and definitely not without permission. No, you're good, Cat Smith. I'm that is so once I get ready to really like I'm trying to debate because what I have is actually pretty like at least on paper because I've been writing out the game doc for it is pretty good on paper. If I can translate it into the vertical slice, then I could probably even get funding to have more help building it. Because the vertical slice, the 30-minute one is going to take me a couple months to build out if I'm lucky. So having more resources, like actually having dedicated people to help me with the assets would be amazing. I just don't have the funding to do that. But I'd also have to take on a publisher, which sucks in its own right. Satanic, I've only played through the Dead Space remake. I just finished Evil Within 1 and 2 last year. There you go. So maybe I might do the vertical slice also as like a little bit of an escape room and hitting one of the first bosses. Release that like as a temporary demo or something like that for um to drive up some interest and then go that route. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, Satanic. Evil Within 1 and 2 are so good, but Dead Space remake is so amazing. You need to play Dead Space 2 and 3. They hold up really well. A pre-demo? Yeah, it would be if I feel comfortable enough with it. I so there's like 2 routes. If I can't get good enough assets for it, meaning I get a couple months down further in because I'm working on mechanics more than anything because that's I'm an engineer. I'm a software engineer. I'm not an artist. I can dream up of the ideas in my head. I can't. put them on pay I can't make the assets very well. So I either use some generative AI, which I refuse to ship with the generative AI, but I want to visualize what I'm thinking. So when I get someone that can do art better, or if I bare minimum have to force to do it myself to learn more, I can redo it and not be too bad. Or I'm also using placeholder assets. I just that's how I have to do it. And so yeah, there's a couple ways to do about doing this. BT Maverick. Then, if you have a vertical slice ready next year in June, you can meet me at CGF and we can show it to Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer in person. There you go, BT Maverick. You're not wrong. I'm not going to say anything. Funded by Xbox. I mean, honestly, could be worse. Not saying it's bad. If Phil Spencer was watching this, which he's not, there's only a couple people. Satanic, I have both ready to go, and I also bought Flesh Made Fear. Oh, nice. So you got Dead Space 2 and Dead Space 3 ready to go. Satanic, those are like honestly, they hold up so well. Um, okay, guys, well, I need to stop geeking out about my game and all that, but I'll once I feel comfortable, like I know I've been talking about all my stuff. Like I've even got games revealed, even .com further into place to do some stuff there too. I'm just slowly taking my time, and I used to give due dates. I'm just not going to do it right now. BT Maverick, I gotta say, like how much content I have written, and I need to filter it somewhat. I have a lot of content for making multiple games if I really, if I really wanted to. But that sounds very stressful right now, and I want to get through some of my other stuff, and then, yeah, releasing a game would be well, it's going to be very hard, but it's the legacy that's left behind that's going to make it worth it. Um, As far as anything else, I don't really have anything else to cover. I think news-wise, like Steam Deck 2 news, I don't think there's anything interesting. Steam Machine, I don't think there's anything new. I don't think we're gonna get Steam Machines could be more expensive. We'll find out how much they are. Wait, how does it have are they counting? That seems a little disingenuous. You can't rate the Steam Machine, or is that ratings on the Steam? I don't know. Don't know where that's coming from. But no, I'm gonna be playing around with the story somewhat too on my The Brink channel, but I'll announce that stuff here, so don't be too freaked out about missing anything because I will be announcing things. Yeah, and as a part of like exploring, I even have my first. I have to get. I need to get some stuff for Dead Space to release my one of my first videos on The Brink redone, where I talk about Dead Space in it. The Gabe Cube launch game, Half-Life 3 is rumored. Yes, that's right. Reporters suggest Half-Life 3 will be Steam Machine launch title. I have heard about this. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but there's multiple rumors going around. Half-Life 3 will be a launch, not exclusive, but a launch title. Um, that'd be smart. I mean, they're not going to make it exclusive to the Steam Machine, but it, if they made it free with the Steam Machine, it might even drive the Steam Machine even more. Um, just tying it around that time could really actually push people to buy a lot more of the Steam Machine. I we do know like we have some pretty good ideas on obesity medicine being advertised to me, but no, but that Half-Life X, which is the next Half-Life, is going to be coming out in the next year, or that was heavily being tested um by friends and family, which indicates it's near the end of development cycle, and so they might be just waiting to release the Steam Machine. I think if they announce the Steam Machine price and being able to reserve it like 2 weeks before it releases, and then don't even say anything about Half-Life 3, but once it releases, well, maybe if you can buy mm, I wonder if they'd announce Half-Life 3 at the same time, or announce it right when it drops, the Steam Machine. Could both be very interesting. I just out of Nova Prospect and Prep, nice. Uh, Rachie, I want a game that you are the protagonist of a fail game, then fall in a world with all the historical game failures like ET, Concord, and Project Milo. Damn, that's a brutal one, Rachie. I bet you it's coming. That's another thing. Like I know ideas are worth nothing until they're built out, but with my game, I give you guys little shots here and there, and it's still being worked through, but I don't know. Until I have a really good idea or have it out and ready, I just don't know if I want to leak too much for both my sanity and also just because, I want to make sure that my idea gets done by me. Satanic Half-Life 3 as a shadow drop with no announcement would be awesome. I agree, Satanic. I think that would be really cool to just be like, I think it'd be even more interesting to have the Steam machines ship out and people plug it in and they see in their account Half-Life 3 and just the amount of people just freaking out and rivers start growing and everything, and then it just pops up on the Steam store would be crazy. It should bundle though. What better time? I honestly hope that they have a bare minimum. Honestly, they could have a Steam frame, Steam machine, and Steam controller bundle. I hope they do that because that's what I'll buy. I really hope they have a bundle. Marathon might join that list. Marathon's coming out what this year? It's not. It's. I don't know if people are too excited for it. I think Bungie has kind of killed themselves. They're joining all the other developer publishers of past like Blizzard. But yeah, we'll see. I think it would be safe to say the Steam machine is going to be $700. I don't think it's going to be any more than that. Even with RAM prices, I don't think it's going to be any less than that because of RAM prices. If it's less than that, then awesome. But I'd expect 700 for the Steam machine, 800 for the Steam frame. That doesn't make sense though, but I'm just going to say it as that. Okay, guys, with that being said, we're going to end this. I am going to take a minute or two break. Stop sharing. And then I'm going to be playing on Twitch. I'm be playing on, you can catch me over here, HTTP, Twitch, the brink. Let's see. I think that seems right. You can catch me over here in a couple of minutes, and I will be playing that one game I mentioned earlier that I already forgot. It's good. It's going to be God damn, my brain. It's shot already from a full day's worth of work and then this dispatch. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for good times. Always love chatting with you guys, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out. Later. See you over in Twitch if you come.